The key question is, can you use machine learning to predict price movements on stocks and crypto? And could that be used in order to invest better? This is a question that I just got by seeing this tweet. I love Twitter. And when I see something, I like to explore, because when you see this post and you see this graph, immediately you're thinking, wow, really, look, it predicted. Therefore, if you predict, you can invest and do better in the market, correct? That would be the logic of just seeing this. And then you see here that it says machine learning solves the problem of prediction from high dimensional data features. Okay, so remember, machine learning is a subset part of artificial intelligence. It's like how you train machines to learn. But then, and you see all of this and you say, wow, I can just implement this. It will be great because I can even download the Python code. And now with ChatGPT or cloud, I can do it. And if I go down and I see this guy, he says that he has a community. Okay. And in his community, he has had 7.6% return over 14 days. So it should be amazing, isn't it? Well, the way is to validate things. So I decided to do my research. I'm not a machine learning specialist, I'm a PhD researcher and I'm MIT innovator. And today I'm going to analyze data from published papers and see what has happened. And I found this recent paper, okay, 2024, and this was published in Nature, okay? So one of the top journals in the world. What I like it says applying machine learning algorithms to predict the stock price trend in the stock market. So in this case, the paper is focused on the stock market. They use the case of Vietnam because they're Vietnamese and they like to add some value on Vietnamese research. It's interesting. But it uses the same principles because it's mathematics, isn't it? Isn't the base of machine learning mathematics? Well, look what it says. The aim of the study are to predict the stock price trend in the stock market in emerging economy using long short-term memory algorithm. Okay, so when you hear all these influencers and people that are doing lectures on YouTube, especially the ones that want to sell their products using machine learning, well, you will find these elements. And it says that the forecasting model has a high accuracy of 93% for most of the stock data usage. Okay, so if I have 93%, that's pretty good, no? Well, let's just check the data and you will be able to confirm it or not. So it goes back about the foundational theory, but I want to show you, we're not going to focus a lot on how they build it. I want to focus on the results and the data collection and what happened to the stocks that they analyzed. So in this case, 37% of the stocks were retail, 27% were construction, and 17% were manufacturing. And then you can say, of course, this is the Vietnamese market, so it's a very small market. The stocks that they pick are very different from traditional Standard & Poor's or other US market. But at the end, remember, is the data. It has, you have access to the data. Can you predict it or not? And this is one of the top journals in the world. So let's start with this one. Okay, so you have the BN index, and you can see in red is the predict price of the machine learning algorithm, and in blue is the real price. What do you notice here? Okay, well, that in general the predicted price is lower than the real price. This is the key thing. Look, for example, in one point it was 950 and the other was 1000. In one point was under 900, the other was above 920. Okay, so it's interesting because this is the point. Like, it was never correct actually. Now you can see what about the pattern. Okay, let's go and talk about the patterns, but let's see other of the elements of the stocks that they predicted. Look this one. Okay, so they took the PNG. Look the predict price, which is red, and the real price, which is blue. And you can see that in most part of the pattern, like for example, look from the days 20 to 30 or 20 to 40, you can see that in the red it will predict going up in this period and then going down and then up again. So it did in some way, yeah. It predicted to go up, down a little bit. There was one point that was exact and then went up. So from a trend perspective, yes, there's correlation. But let's see the other graphs, because imagine if you just put money on this stock and you're just calculating it will just go up. Well, there's a big difference. So in this model, what we can say is that is underexposed, meaning that all the calculations are most of the time below the real level of the price of the stock. Okay, let's take another one. NVL, another company. This one looks not even with a good trend, isn't it? It doesn't. So for example, just look at the day 70, and in the day 70 is predicted just to go up a little bit and just keep the same price, while here the stock just did something crazy. It passed from 115 to 140, so it grew a lot. So in that case, and you can say, okay, if I use a machine learning model, the more days that pass, the more data that I have, I can predict better. I'm not seeing that in this model. Okay, let's go and check this one, another stock, BID. I think this is one of the worst results, because look, just look the red, the prediction of the red. Like for example, in day 20, the price of red was 45 in the prediction, and they predicted to go up to 46, yeah, 46, 47 maximum, and then go down to another 45. But if you have invested in that stock, let's say you bought it at 45, a couple days later it went down, so you could have panicked, okay, because it went up to 42, and then it just went up like crazy, and the predicted machine learning model didn't get it. So when you were running the machine learning model that is saying, no, don't worry, the stock will be stable, you're just missing like the largest trend possible and the largest winning. And so why do you have then a machine learning model if you can just stay there? But it never tells you. So that's the problem. Maybe in the days after day 50, it shows that it's gonna go up and then up a little bit more. And yes, it does that in this trend, and it shows a trend going down. So in that case, we say that from a trend perspective, it was right. But still, you never know. So at the end, what is your strategy with these machine learning models? And this is like the worst one. No, look this. The predict price is the red. They literally predicted the price of the stock just to share like crazy. Watch. Wow. Was that a new stock? Well, I have to check that in the paper, but VVH sounds very crazy. And just look how stable was the retail price. So imagine you were just thinking, yeah, I have this machine learning model that I just downloaded the Python code, and I use Course or ChatGPT or Cloud to download it, and then nothing happens. Well, this is the nothing happens. This is like the worst case scenario. Well, no, this is not the worst, one of the worst actually. Now let's go and see another one of the stocks. Okay, this one, the predicted price, it predicted that the stock was going down by a lot. If you see, the predicted price change was from 35 up to 30 in a 30-day period. So you will set, for example, you will set a strategy to short the stock or to buy a future. Okay. The problem is that if you buy the future, then you don't know what will be the price change of that future. And second, in that sense of shorting the stock, that will be good, but you have to handle very strategic, because indeed the stock went from 38 to 28. So yes, so the model, we can see that in this case it really predicted the trend, not the exact price, and that's the problem. So as you can see here, in some cases, it predicts a trend or indicates a trend, but it doesn't mean that will give you the exact numbers. Just think about, for example, in the day 50, where it's very similar. The prediction is that it's gonna get down and then up a little bit and then down, and it literally happened. It went down but less time than they thought, and went up more time and faster. So even though the prediction in terms of the trend was right, the problem was always going to be the entry and the exit point, the strategy that you're going to implement in those cases. This one is much better. I think is a decent one. Just look the graph. The red one compared with the blue one, the red, the predict price. Yes, this I will say that it was a good one. And then what you have to analyze is why some stocks they have better graphs and some others they have very bad graphs. And then you have to do more research about that. Okay? And then the price model and the machine learning model and the type of stock. Guys, let me see that stock in Vietnam. I didn't know they even have Southern Gas and Supply. Okay, Petro Vietnam. Okay, so it's an oil company. So maybe, and this is just a hypothesis that I will have to check other papers. For example, for oil-based stocks, using this machine learning model could have interesting patterns that could be used, but very important. For example, let's check this BBH stock. This BBH is called Baobiet. What's that? Let me check what is Baobiet. This is the kind of research you should do, guys, because at the end, a lot of people. Okay, so it's a holding company. Insurance, reinsurance, financial investment, fund management, securities. They do like everything in Vietnam. Okay. And it's pretty bad. Like very, very bad. So the machine learning algorithm applying for that is like the worst. So don't do it. Okay. So at the end, I'm not saying don't do it, guys. What I'm saying is that you should run your own experiments, but don't blindly believe people that are telling you, oh, this is wanna work in this way and everyone is making money. Oh, this one is pretty nice. Look, very nice graph. This one I like. Yeah. Are you still there? Oh, yeah. This one I really like. And let's see what is PDR. Because the interesting about this is that you will know if some machine learning models really work. Oh, it's a real estate. Okay. So now I have a hypothesis. If I'm using a machine learning model to analyze stocks in the Vietnamese market, which is a very small market share, I will use the machine learning model from this paper on real estate stocks and oil stocks, but then I will have to add other elements. Okay? Others are pretty bad. Look, how bad is it? Why someone will tell you, yes, my machine learning model is the best, you're gonna make a lot of money. And then you just put the money, or you believe them, and you short or long any stock, you just lost a lot of money. So my conclusions, very simple. You can apply machine learning models for trends, for specific stocks, but you have to run a lot of experiments. Let me know in the comments below you have used it, you have tried, if you have used any service. Thank you very much and subscribe.